The Dreshani relay had been a waypoint once. Cargo haulers, diplomatic couriers, the occasional troop transport stopping to refuel on the way to somewhere that mattered. That was before the compact rerouted the Vale corridor 200 light-years spinward and left Dreshani sitting at the end of a road nobody traveled anymore. 8 years I'd been here. My name is Callan Bryce. Garrison Detail, Terran Diplomatic Corps, 2nd Watch Grade. The posting came with a brief: hold the station open, keep the landing arrays calibrated. There was a file attached, diplomatic flagged, classified 3 grades above my clearance. A face, a name, a single line: if this individual arrives, provide immediate safe harbor and contact Terran Strategic Command on the priority channel. The face belonged to a Sarani woman, Princess Valith, 3rd born of the High Sovereign, exiled during the Ascension Purge when the military council toppled the royal house. She'd been smuggled off-world on a cargo shuttle 8 years prior. She could be anywhere. She could be dead. But the relay stayed open on the chance she wasn't. Every quarter I submitted my status report. Every quarter I received the same automated acknowledgement. I don't think anyone read them. The other garrison posts on the corridor shut down one by one: Kareth, Mindal Station, the fuel depot at Fen Reach. Their people rotated out. Mine never came. I'm not telling you this for sympathy. I'm telling you so you understand what the relay looked like the morning the freighter came in. Dust on every surface that wasn't the console or my coffee mug. The landing arrays still hummed. I kept them perfect, same as the brief required. The desert outside stretched flat and copper-colored to every horizon, broken only by the relay tower and the wind-scoured fuel pylons. I hadn't spoken to another person face-to-face in 14 months. The freighter dropped out of approach without hailing. A Tessic-class light hauler, 40 years past its service rating, venting coolant from a cracked dorsal manifold. It barely held together through atmospheric entry. I watched from the control room as it settled onto the eastern pad with a sound like a dying animal. I pulled on my jacket and walked out. The heat hit like a wall. The freighter's ramp was already cycling down, hydraulics wheezing. I stopped 30 meters out and waited. She came down the ramp alone. Tall, taller than I expected from the file image. The Sarani carry their height in their spine, upright even when exhausted, and she was exhausted. I could see it in the way her hands gripped the ramp railing, the unevenness of her step. She wore a laborer's coverall, gray and patched, the kind dockhands wore on the inner stations. Nothing royal about it. Her hair was cropped short, copper red, darker than the file had shown, dulled by years of ship air and dust. Her skin was dark amber, the Sarani bronze that ran warmer than any human complexion. Her eyes found me across the tarmac, and even at 30 meters they caught the light like pale gold. She didn't speak. She stood at the base of the ramp and looked at me the way you look at something that might be a mirage. I raised one hand, not a wave, not a salute, just an open palm held still. "The relay is operational," I said. "If you need fuel or repairs, I can help with both." She stared for a long moment. Her gaze moved past me to the relay building, the dust-filmed windows, the single tower, the empty desert. Something behind her eyes shifted. She was measuring the distance between me and the door, between her and the ship, between what she'd been running from and whatever this place was. "You're alone here," she said, not a question. "Yes, ma'am." "How long?" 8 years. Her eyes narrowed. She looked at the relay tower, then back at me. "There's nothing on this route, nothing for 100 light-years. Why would anyone garrison a dead relay for 8 years? I could have told her it was a clerical error, an assignment nobody remembered to cancel. But I looked at her standing there in her dockhand coverall with her cropped hair and her gold eyes and her hands still gripping the railing because she didn't trust the ground yet, and I told her the truth. "Because you might come." The wind pushed dust across the tarmac between us. Her fingers tightened on the railing, then released it, one finger at a time. She stepped off the ramp onto solid ground and stopped. Say that again. The relay was held open for you, Princess Valeth of the Sarani royal house. If you arrived, I was to provide safe harbor and contact Terran's strategic command. Her mouth opened, closed. I watched the muscles in her jaw work, watched her chin lift, the Sarani reflex, dignity held before grief. Her eyes were bright, but she didn't look away. 8 years, she said quietly. You've been here 8 years, waiting. Holding the post. For a woman who might never come. An exile from a court that doesn't exist anymore. A princess with no crown, no guard, no name worth speaking in any system between here and the Veil. Yes, ma'am. She looked at me, not the measuring look. She was seeing me now. The sun-roughened skin, the uniform patched at the elbows and knees, the relay behind me operational where it counted, dust everywhere else. A man who had stayed. Who told you to do this? Her voice was steady, but the steadiness cost her. The brief came from Terran Diplomatic Corps, classified above my grade. I don't know who authored it. And no one relieved you. No. No one told you the posting was finished. No one told me to stop waiting either. She exhaled a small sound, the kind a person makes when something carried a long time shifts inside their chest. Not relief. Not yet. The first crack before relief gets through. I turned toward the building. There's water inside. The comms array is operational. I maintain it weekly. If there are people you need to reach, the priority channel can access Sarani loyalist frequencies. I have the encryption keys from the original brief. She was quiet behind me. I didn't look back. She deserved the space to decide whether to follow without someone watching her make the choice. I was halfway to the door when I heard her boots on the packed earth behind me. Inside, I set water in front of her. She sat at the relay table, the one I'd eaten every meal at for 8 years, and wrapped both hands around the cup without drinking. Her eyes moved across the room. The console, the status lights, the tidy equipment rack, the cot in the corner with its military corners, the single window facing the desert. You kept this place alive, she said. That was the brief. The brief was a piece of paper from 8 years ago. You kept it alive because you chose to. I didn't answer that. She was right, and we both knew it. And saying so would have turned it into something I did for credit. It wasn't. It was the post. You hold the post. She drank, set the cup down. When she looked up, her eyes were wet, but her voice was clear and level. My court was dissolved. My family scattered or dead. I've been running for 8 years on cargo ships and forged manifests, and I stopped believing anyone remembered my name 3 systems ago. She paused. What is your name? Callan Bryce. She said it back to me, carefully, the way the Sarani speak a name when they mean to keep it. The comms array, the loyalist frequencies, you said you have the keys. Yes, ma'am. Then I need to make a call. I crossed to the console. 40 seconds to bring up the priority channel, enter the encryption sequence, lock the frequency. I'd practiced the sequence once a week for 8 years. I could have done it blind. I offered her the chair. She crossed the room and sat. Her hands moved over the controls with a certainty that hadn't been there on the ramp. The posture straightened, the chin lifted. The stillness behind her eyes went absolute. Not an exile, not a refugee. A princess of the Sarani, sitting where she was meant to sit, doing what she was born to do. She keyed the frequency. Static, then a voice, distant, startled, rapid Sarani. Her reply was calm. I didn't understand the words, but I knew the tone, authority that lived in the spine. The voice on the other end went quiet. Then it spoke a single word. I didn't need a translation. The way it was said, careful, disbelieving, reverent, sounds the same in any language. She closed her eyes. When she opened them, she turned in the chair and looked at me. Standing by the console in my patched uniform, hands at my sides, the desert light coming through the window behind me. Callan Bryce, she said, I will not forget that you were here. I wasn't going anywhere, Your Highness. She held my gaze. Then she placed her right hand flat against her collarbone over her heart, if the Sarani heart sat where a human's did, and inclined her head. Not a bow, a keeping. The gesture the Sarani make once to one person, the first time they recognize someone as permanent. I nodded back. That was enough. Outside, the desert was quiet and the relay tower hummed. Somewhere past the veil, a loyalist fleet was waking up. She had a long road ahead. So did I, but the relay was open, the channel was live, and the post I'd held for 8 years finally had a weight I could carry in both hands. I went to set more water on. It was going to be a long night and she would need it.